To go home.
This morning, CMS expecting more student absences and walkouts as Border Patrol operations continue.
And I am urging our board and district leadership to act.
Why the district is saying no to remote learning, even as tens of thousands of students are staying home.
Mecklenburg County Commissioners now passing a resolution reaffirming constitutional protections.
We represent the people of Mecklenburg County, and we stand by every word of this proclamation.
What it means for immigrant communities going forward.
Did you know North Carolina is one of the top Christmas tree producers in the U.S.?
We'll tell you what makes our state perfect for growing them.
Those stories and much more live, local, and breaking news coming up at 7 a.m. on WCNC Plus.
All right, a final check on those roads if you are heading out the door. This is I-77, a beautiful start to the day just north of Griffith. Not seeing any problems there, but look at I-77 out towards mile marker 88, heading all the way towards mile marker 90, right there in the left-hand screen. That's out towards Carowinds. Seems like we have an accident there. That's in South Carolina if you are heading northbound. We'll have more on that coming up on WCNC Plus. And then again, this is another crash that is active. It's not I-77, but it's Lakeview Road at Reams Road. Chris.
Thanks a lot, Majestic. We have some light rain working its way through the area. This is going to be out of our hair in the next hour or so. Then our 10-day forecast, you can see 77 today. We do it again on Saturday. Other than that, the lower 70s transition to the upper 60s and eventually back below normal Thanksgiving and beyond.
And folks, don't forget, it's that time of year, the 25th annual Magical Toy Drive. WCNC Charlotte once again teaming up with the Salvation Army to help put gifts under the tree for local families. And we need your help. Bring any new unwrapped toy to any Charlotte area Belk location between now and Sunday the 14th. You can also scan that QR code on your screen to learn about other ways that you can help out.
And make sure you join us on WCNC Plus starting at 7. Have a great day.
Streaming live right now at 7 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. We start things off with a check of your forecast on this Wednesday. Meteorologist Chris Mulcahy says this is the pick of the week. Yes, Chris?
Sure is. And it might be a little questionable because like, oh wait, I think I see some rain on the radar, or it's pretty cloudy right now. It's the pick of the week because once we get done with this little band of rain and these clouds over the next few hours, we're talking about a mostly sunny day that eventually will cloud things up a little bit later on, but our high temperature is right around 77 degrees. That is close to a record, my friends, but this coming Saturday is now trying to rival today, which is good news. We have lower expectations as far as really getting this rain too lower to the ground. There are some signs that this actually has caused a wet road from place to place, but it's actively starting to dry out a little bit. It's encountering some of that drier air. Whenever you have a relative humidity that's below 60%, sometimes that's too dry for the rain to reach the surface. That's not the case everywhere, so some of us will still have a chance, I would say, over the next 2 hours of a passing shower or two. So right now, seeing some green here on the map, now working its way into Rowan County. Rowan County, I think likely you will be seeing some on and off light rain over the next hour. 55 degrees right now around Charlotte, actually warming things up. 51 around Rock Hill and 49 in Hickory. That's up to 20 degrees warmer across the area. And already down in Rock Hill, we're starting to see some breaks in the clouds, allowing for a brighter sky. Here's what our futurecast is going to show over the next few hours. That cloud cover is getting out of here. The rain says goodbye, and then we will have a delightful day. And I think the cloudiest part of our area will be the mountains. You are expecting more of that mostly cloudy environment lingering heading into the afternoon. It will get brighter before we see more clouds concluding the day. Likely as the sun is setting, that's where it starts to get a little bit cloudier, and then it will be a cloudier evening, which is actually good news because that's going to keep our lows on the milder side. Near record highs, yeah, we are so close. 77. So if I'm off by 1 degree and we hit 78, that'll be a record tying day today, tying the record set back in 1942 during the beginning of World War II. And really putting this in perspective, 62 is where we should be normally for this day in climatology. And over the next 4 days, we're actually going to be closer to a record again on Saturday. Saturday even has a chance of breaking the record of 76, and lower 70s is just delightful. Not a record day, but certainly about 10 degrees above normal for Thursday and Friday, also set back in 1942. Jumping right to our 10-day forecast. Enjoy the warmer temperatures while we have it. It feels like early October right now, but before you know it, it'll feel like late November again as we're concluding the month and getting towards Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, I think we have rain beforehand, likely dry most of the day, but things are trending for maybe a spotty rain shower. And once a cold front passes, highs back to the upper 40s and even some freezing temperatures heading into the last weekend of November. So I'm going to say it one more time. Take advantage of the warmer temperatures while we have them because a big shift come right around Turkey Day. Let's see if there's any shift in your morning commute. Majestic, what's going on?
It's busy, but it's still beautiful outside. This is I-77 here. If you're driving over by Griffith, this is just north of Griffith, Lake Norman. I love the reflection of the sky right there on the lake. We do still have a few raindrops, especially up in that direction. Not a whole lot, but you may encounter it for that morning commute. Now, this is in South Carolina. I thought perhaps there was an accident, but now it is reporting that there isn't. It's just a lot of people all heading the same direction. I-77, this is Gold Hill right here. So we typically do see quite a bit of congestion this time of the morning, but on my live traffic map, you can see that specific area, mainly just oranges and yellows, just meaning that cars are moving a little slow, which makes sense. Once we head to the north, this is where we do have one active crash to let you know about. It's not on I-77, it's just to the west of it on Lakeview Road at Reams Road. And then we've also been talking about this for a while now. I-77 southbound between Statesville and Troutman. There has been some overnight construction work that's still bringing some minor delays. Keep that in mind if you plan to head that direction. Guys.
Majestic, thanks. This morning, we are continuing to monitor a growing number of absences at schools across Charlotte as Operation Charlotte's Web continues. For parents just waking up, students in CMS will have an early release date today. Now, we should say this was already scheduled back when the district's calendar for this year was approved. Right now, CMS is choosing to stay with in-person learning despite calls from some parents to switch to remote learning.
Now, we're still waiting for Tuesday's numbers, but updated numbers for Monday show 30,000 students were out of class. Many students who did go to school took part in protests. And already this morning, we've learned more about walkouts planned for at least one school, Julius Chambers High School. Also this morning, we're expecting a big gathering of protesters at the Home Depot on Windover Road. A number of immigrant advocacy groups, including Indivisible Charlotte, PSL Charlotte, and the Carolina Migrant Network will lead a protest beginning at 10:30.
And this morning, new questions are being raised over what some are characterizing as possible intimidation techniques from federal agents. A volunteer with the Carolina Migrant Network is speaking out after an encounter she had with agents that led to her home.
WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane now live in East Charlotte, breaking down what people should know about that encounter. Richard.
Yeah, Ben, good morning to you. Good morning, Lisa. Good Wednesday morning to everyone on the Plus. Basically, this woman says that she's born here, raised here in Charlotte. She thought it was something she wanted to do when she volunteered to help the Carolina Migrant Network tell folks about ICE activity in their communities. She called herself an ICE identifier, someone who lets people know that ICE is in the community. She didn't expect the intimidation, what she calls intimidation tactics, by some of the agents as she was doing what she did yesterday, leading to one of them actually going to her home. Now, this all started when that Charlotte woman who monitors federal immigration enforcement says she was followed home by a Border Patrol agent in what migrant advocates are calling an alarming escalation meant to intimidate community observers. You're looking at a dash cam video by Abigail Pepper, a volunteer with the Migrant Network, says the incident happened after she spotted several unmarked vehicles pulling into a supermarket here in East Charlotte. She noticed that there wasn't much activity here. Then she says one of the cars pulled away. She followed that car for a while, wondering what it was doing. And then after a while, it started following her, turn for turn, step for step, even going toward her into her neighborhood, then into her subdivision where she lives. She slowed down, got behind that car. It turned into her cul-de-sac. It stopped in front of her house, and the agent inside pointed toward her home, this before driving off and actually speeding away and running a red light. Pepper says she called the CMPDs, who told her that a few people have reported similar encounters. She believes that the agents ran her license plates after multiple unmarked vehicles boxed her in when she first arrived in that shopping center.
I reported this back to CMN, and they had not heard of this, but apparently this has happened to more people than just myself. And so I think that's highly concerning.
Yeah, she also said that what she did was she called CMPD. They told her they had a few incidents like this. She says it's okay. She knows the law that anyone a law enforcement agent is allowed to look up her license and find out information. But to actually go to her home is overstepping boundaries, both legally and ethically, she says. That's something she wanted folks to know about. She says that she hopes that these things don't continue. Right now, we're in East Charlotte, guys. We'll send it back to you.
I feel like we need to say, so many people are watching this in Charlotte, and we have a tremendous immigrant community here, and people are wanting ways to help. And in this case, she's an advocate for immigrant communities, and it's important work. But for people watching at home and TV, you've got to be mindful of what you're doing in your surroundings and walking a fine line between getting yourself in trouble and also still trying to help people that you care about.
And we're going to lay out some of the things that you can and cannot do. One of those being that you can record. I think it has to be within 25 yards of those federal agents. Richard, thanks so much for that. Now, that incident comes on the heels of reports of another U.S. citizen being taken into custody by Border Patrol. This happened yesterday at the Eastway Crossing Shopping Center. Multiple witnesses say a man was alerting that Border Patrol was operating in the area. When agents turned their attention toward him, he repeatedly shouted to them that he was a U.S. citizen, but he was still detained.
I feel horrified. I don't understand how people can live right now and wake up in the morning. I don't understand people go to sleep at night right now, knowing that the people that live next to them and the people in their neighborhoods are scared for their lives, scared for their children, scared for their parents, scared for their siblings.
DHS nor Border Patrol has not said why that man was detained or what charges he may face. Now, legal experts say agents do have the authority to arrest people if they deem them to be interfering with operations. However, you do have the right to record.
The 20 local leaders have their hands tied at this point, and they're looking for ways to help out. County commissioners left to simply pass a resolution that reaffirms the county's support for constitutional rights, calling for respect, fair treatment for immigrant communities who call this county home.
We don't condone it. We won't stand for it. And we represent the people of Mecklenburg County. and we stand by every word of this proclamation.
It's a show of support, but it really has no real teeth, as local government has no control over these operations. That's why next week, City Council will vote on temporary funding to local organizations that help these residents impacted by Border Patrol. If that funding does pass, there's still some concern over where that money might come from and how quickly it could be allocated.
As the debate over Border Patrol continues, many in the community say they feel safer knowing this immigration operation is happening. Matt Mercer with the North Carolina Republican Party weighing in last night right here on WCNC Plus.
Folks who are here illegally, they don't want to be found. And so I would say is folks who are here legally who say, hey, yeah, here's everything that I have. They, I believe, very quickly can move about their day once that happens. But again, these officers from Border Patrol are here going after folks who don't want to be found. And I think it's unfortunate that folks are making it harder for them to do their job.
We'll continue following the very latest on these Border Patrol updates as they happen. Download WCNC Plus right here. You already have it on your streaming device for the latest raids on the protests and the impacts to your community.
Congress votes to release the Epstein files. Hear the reaction from victims and President Trump next.
A bright 11-year-old with an infectious smile who disappeared after getting off her school bus in Cornelius in 2022.
From November the 22nd to December the 15th, 23 days went by where he didn't know the location of Madalena Kochikari.
Conflicting stories from her mother and stepfather, a boarded-up bedroom, fires in the backyard of her home, secret recordings, and trips out of state.
Bottom line is she's a suspect in the disappearance of her own daughter.
Everyone's still asking, where is Madalena?
Our goal is to find Madalena, and we're not going to stop until we do.
The Search for Madalena, streaming on WCNC Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
.714 right now, all eyes on the Oval Office. We're waiting to see when the president will sign a bill releasing the Epstein files. Jeffrey Epstein was a convicted sex offender with ties to some of the world's most powerful men. And now we're learning the president is asking his Department of Justice to open new investigation into Democrats mentioned in those files. NBC's Alice Barr is now in Washington with the details.
After decades of delays, a final sprint toward accountability, with the bill to force the release of the Justice Department's Epstein files headed to President Trump's desk after sailing through the House and Senate. Survivors of the notorious sex offender Jeffrey Epstein's abuse cheering Senate passage at a candlelight vigil.
The power of being heard and being recognized and being validated is incredibly healing.
Across both chambers, only one member, a Republican, voted no after months of resistance from the president and GOP leaders who pressed for other means of transparency, arguing this bill didn't do enough to protect victims' identities and could create new victims named in the files but cleared of any wrongdoing.
It needed amendments. I just spoke to the president about that. We'll see what happens.
President Trump, who in the end urged Republicans to pass the bill and said he would sign it, bristled at questions about why he doesn't just release the files now.
I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because I thought he was a sick pervert. But I guess I turned out to be right.
The president has not been accused of any wrongdoing tied to Epstein's crimes, and survivors are underscoring their fight is not about politics.
What we endured was real, and it has scarred lives across 5 presidential administrations. The truth has been buried in sealed files and hidden records for far too long.
Those files set to be released by the Justice Department within 30 days of the president signing the bill into law.
President Trump also asked the Justice Department to investigate prominent Democrats who've been linked to Epstein. And that's raising some concerns now because any active federal investigation could prompt the DOJ to withhold certain documents that, if released, would jeopardize those probes. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade is almost here. We're going to have a behind-the-scenes look next.
Welcome back, everybody. Okay, so I want to go through all of our rain chances coming up. One, we have active rain in the area right now. A lot of that is starting to fade out for the afternoon. Not worried about anything. At most, you have a sprinkle later on this evening. Then we have some very spotty rain chances, but the only one that really sticks out, I think, is Friday night heading into Saturday, with the outside chance that lingers into your Saturday afternoon, but a lot of that is going to be on the struggle bus trying to overcome some drier air. And then we start to see better rain chances next Tuesday and Wednesday. So let's go through all the above. First off, for our futurecast heading into the weekend, here's Friday at 4 p.m. Friday is going to be a much cloudier day. Still temperatures mild in the lower 70s. And then heading into the weekend, I think that we have rain scattered throughout your Friday evening. The main bulk of that precipitation, the timing's all over the place. So I think we could have some morning rain, especially for the mountains. And a lot of this is going to fade out as it gets closer to Charlotte. I just want an outside thinking that, hey, there could be some rain during your Saturday afternoon, but there's also going to be a lot of breaks as well. This eventually is going to break up, and then we're going to allow for our next chance for rain to roll in. Most of the rain that we're going to see across the country is going to be well west of us, just a little bit closer to the Mississippi Valley. Meanwhile, it's going to be a good portion of the Carolinas that don't really see too much. I think it's really outside of the 10-day, really your Tuesday heading into next Wednesday right before Thanksgiving, that we're going to have our best chance for rain. But behind that, we see a big time cool down. So get ready for a big drop in temperatures behind that secondary cold front. Enjoy the warmer temperatures while we have them today and over the next few. Let's get right over to Majestic to see what's going on for our morning commute.
Let's do it. Good morning, everyone. Let's give you some updates as to what I'm looking at on our traffic map. You can see this is I-77 from York County, Mecklenburg County, coming in from South Carolina. Area roads are definitely busy, but we don't have any significant problems there. This is one of our cameras that I've had my eyes on. It's in South Carolina, Gold Hill. Now, there are no wrecks right here. There's just a lot of people all heading in the same direction, so it's just moving very, very slowly. Let's take a look at my map. This is specifically where that camera was that I just showed you, so that makes sense. We have red here, meaning that cars are at a stop and go, and that's exactly what we are seeing in that area. And then right here, this is a newer crash where we now have one lane that's blocked because of it. It's on Sharon Road, southbound at Quail Hollow Road. And then once we head to the north, a newer crash here on Lakeview Road at Reams Road, but we also have a couple of more that I'm going to talk about and walk you through what I see back here in just a few. Guys.
All right, Majestic, thanks so much. Well, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade is just 8 days away. A Thanksgiving tradition filled with floats, music, and holiday cheer.
NBC's Gus Rosendale takes us behind the scenes for a sneak peek at the 7 new floats you're going to see during the parade.
Familiar characters and sometimes new additions like Labubu, all part of the new floats that'll be part of this year's Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
These floating wonders flirt with the rooftop of this warehouse in northern New Jersey. 7 new floats getting ready for their Thanksgiving Day debut.
The mood of today is super exciting. It's our opportunity to unveil all of our brand new floats to the general public, to the national audience. We've been working the last 18 months to get to today, and it's a celebration.
Every year, new floats are built and designed by a team of carpenters, engineers, and designers at the Macy's Parade Studio. Brick by brick, keep an eye out for this new Winter Mountain by Lego. You can buy a much smaller version of your own to make at home. And if that tires you out, count some sheep with Serta's Dream Generator, or maybe a nap after Thanksgiving dinner. Feeling more adventurous? Maybe hit the high seas with the Land of Glaciers, Wildlife and Wonder by Holland America Line.
It all starts with concept artists, and we chat through what's the best storytelling we can do. You know, we only have a few seconds to tell the funnest, most exciting story for the 3.5 million people on the street, for the 31 million people at home.
It gets a little scary with the puppeteering behind the monster at Netflix's Stranger Things float. But a sweeter time is had aboard Lindt's Master Chocolatier Ballroom. And it's all smiles and hugs with fuzzy 16-foot-tall inflatable sculptures, the first of their kind to be built for a float in the parade, with Labubu and Makoko.
A variety of super fun elements, really bright, colorful, and just going to live up to the parade spirit and hopefully wow our audiences.
And keep an eye out for the tiniest float in Macy's Parade. This one stands under 8 inches tall, featuring to-scale goldfish crackers. Big and small, all part of a grand tradition.
Now, today's event was a special preview. It was just for the media, but soon millions of people will see these floats in person at the parade, and of course around the country and around the world right here on NBC.
How about that? Labubu and La-Hoo-Hoo?
Lakoko.
Lakoko.
I've never seen the small float like they were showing.
They have a few small ones in the parade sometimes.
By the way, just a little hot take here. This is one of those events that is actually better on TV.
Yeah,
I think I disagree.
Really? I've always heard the same.
I went one time, and unless you are in front of Macy's,
yeah,
and you're VIP or something, which I'm not by any means, and you can watch the performances, you're basically on Broadway at 47th, and they're running past you, like, hey,
you're like, where are you
going?
And
it's like,
yeah.
it's actually on your couch pretty good.
I've always wanted to see it.
Okay, tell me why I'm wrong.
I'm just saying, I took my children, and so seeing it through children's eyes, and we kind of got really lucky with our spot.
She's a VIP.
Yeah.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
She's a VIP.
She forgot that part.
It was great to be where we weren't VIP, but we were close to VIP.
It would
but
be
you're right.
fun.
You have to be in the right location. Otherwise, it's a waste. And you got to be right at the front. Like, you got to be right there.
Or in a hotel room, up high, you're warm, you're having your nice drinks and your treats, and you can see it outside your window. That would be fun.
But do watch it on NBC and back right here. Okay, the holiday season is here. That means the magical toy drive is back. You guys, we're talking about the 25th year. WCNC Charlotte teaming up with the Salvation Army to help put gifts under the tree for local families. And you know what? You can help too. All you have to do is bring any new unwrapped toy to any Charlotte area Belk location between now and Sunday, December 14th. You can also scan that QR code on your screen to learn about other ways to donate. Right now, we're going to take a quick break. We'll make sure that you keep it right here on WCNC Plus.
Good morning, good morning. So today's going to be near a record high. The record high for this day in climatology, 78. We're at 77. We should be in the lower 60s. So that is a nice little change. And realistically, we have near record heat over the next 4 days, just off the mark in the lower 70s for your Thursday and Friday. Saturday looking good. Actually has the best shot at breaking a record. So our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast does show a few ebbs and flows, ups and downs. We're right back to 77 by Saturday, which, by the way, our next best chance for rain is later on Friday night heading into Saturday. Could see a lingering shower during the afternoon. We dry out again with another chance for rain next Tuesday, with temperatures returning to the upper 60s, and by Thanksgiving we should be closer to 60 degrees. Let's get over to Majestic for your morning commute, see what's going on.
Let's do it. Good morning, everyone. This is I-77. If you're coming in from York County or if you're going from Mecklenburg County into York County, I-77 not looking too bad, but we still do have a handful of ongoing wrecks, unfortunately. Drive times not being highly impacted, though, because a lot of the crashes that I'm watching are not on our major roads. Couple, though, to let you know about. This one here is a new one. It's going to be on Wilkinson Boulevard at Todd Road, not on 485, but very close to it.
You are streaming live on WCNC Plus at 7:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. This morning, all eyes remain on local classrooms here in Charlotte as tens of thousands of students are missing class as a result of the ongoing Border Patrol operation. Today, students in the district will have a previously planned early release day.
WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards explains why the district is choosing to stay with in-person learning despite calls from parents to go to remote learning.
CMS made it clear the district will not move to remote learning despite thousands of absences and parents who say they're terrified of Border Patrol activity happening near schools. Parents packed Tuesday night's CMS board meeting, urging leaders to offer a remote or hybrid option while Border Patrol operations continue in Charlotte. Both parents and educators spoke before the school board, saying they fear sending students to school, are concerned about their well-being, and want a safe alternative. The push comes after more than 30,000 students were absent Monday. But Superintendent Dr. Crystal Hill says going remote would create major consequences for students who rely on in-person support.
Going remote may address one concern, but there are multiple unintended consequences. Thousands of students without breakfast or lunch, thousands of students that don't have access to school-based caring adults like a teacher, counselor, social worker to support those who have experienced or been exposed to what is happening in our community or other life circumstances.
CMS says there's been no Border Patrol activity on any campus, and they can't control what happens around schools. For now, students are expected to remain in the classroom. At CMS headquarters, I'm Destiny Richards, WCNC Charlotte.
As Border Patrol operations continue, some CMS parents are stepping up to help families who are scared to pick up and drop off their children at school. Parents are meeting at key entrance points near their school to alert families of Border Patrol agents during drop-off and pickup times. Now, at one school, the PTA is using some of the association's relief funds for families impacted by food insecurity or who need help with transportation.
I think every family has to look at the situation and do what makes sense for them. And should also know that there's many people in this community that care about them, that we're here for them, that there's many people working to make this place safe again. And I'm hopeful that coming out of this, we're going to be even stronger and more united as a Charlotte community than we've ever been.
Families can reach out directly to their child's school for information on how they can benefit from PTA resources or student support teams.
This morning, a Charlotte man is being charged with using his vehicle against federal agents. Officials tell us agents arrested 24-year-old Cristobal Maltos yesterday. They say his driver's side mirror hit a patrol officer as agents were trying to make contact with him. Agents say Maltos was following them on 2 occasions. He's now out of jail on bond. The Department of Homeland Security says vehicle ramming attacks have seriously increased since last year. DHS says they're up 58% with more than 70 happening since January.
Hundreds of protesters coming together in downtown Raleigh to voice their opposition to Border Patrol operations across the state. We told you the city's mayor, Janet Cowell, said she received word Border Patrol agents would begin operations in Raleigh as early as yesterday. Now, similar to what's going on here in Charlotte, she says federal officials have not told local leaders who they are targeting or when the operations will end. Conversations are ongoing about where Border Patrol could go in the future as the operation spread across the area. Here on WCNC Plus, our team spoke with South Carolina Representative Ralph Norman about what he's heard.
Are you getting any wind of operations that might eventually happen in South Carolina?
Yes.
What can you tell us about those?
I'm not going to tell you anything. I mean, ICE knows where they are. I'm not going to tell you where I think they're going. I wouldn't do that to them. Look, these people are putting their lives on the line to go into communities. And I don't know when it'll be, but I'm sure that's true all over the country. But to blow your horn like you said the lady was doing, alerting people to go inside and hide, I would never do that. Never would I betray them because I think they're doing the right thing.
Congressman Ralph Norman there. Rapper and North Carolina native Petey Pablo says Border Patrol does not have permission to use a hit song in a social media video. Border Patrol Commander Greg Bavino posting the video on X showing federal agents making a number of arrests here in Charlotte with the rapper's iconic song Raise Up in the background. Pablo's, who's from Greenville, North Carolina, says that his team is looking into his legal options. And folks, we'll continue to follow these Border Patrol operations here in Charlotte as long as they happen. Stay right here on WCNC Plus on your favorite streaming device for the latest on the raids, the protests, and the impacts to your community.
Thanks for joining us. So great to have you here on WCNC Plus. And this is a delightful shot through our Dallas camera. It was much cloudier a couple of hours ago. Also been keeping an eye on a little bit of rain pushing past the area. A lot of it is starting to weaken a road, getting out of here. Here's what it looks like. Just seeing a little bit of light stuff on the eastern side of Cabarrus County over into around the Meisenheimer area and eastern Rowan County. Not much going on here, so the rain is pretty much almost done for the short term. 55 degrees right now, some developing sunshine, especially the further east that you go. And then through the afternoon, I think that we're going to have ample sunshine for most of the day. Today is my pick of the week. Winds are a little bit stronger out of the south and southwest. That's going to crank our temperatures up into the mid to the upper 70s. Since we're starting off so warm in the lower 50s, it's going to be an easy warm up by about 20 degrees. Yesterday we had 69 for a high. Today is going to be near a record. As far as the sunshine goes, I think most of the greater Charlotte area has a mostly sunny sky for a good portion of it, but by the back end. So I'm talking about really after 4 o'clock, we see a few additional clouds and it gets much cloudier heading into the evening. That's going to create another milder low. Where we've been over the last 10 days has been a crazy swing. We were 77, just like where we're going to be today. And then all of a sudden, last Monday and Tuesday, we dropped down to 50 and below. Then we've had a nice little rebound. On Sunday, we were at 79. And then we've been on the cusp of either late October to November-like weather. But what I wanted to show you over the next 10 days, if we're still dancing more in the October-like feel as far as our temperatures go. But then once we get a big bad front to roll through just around Thanksgiving, we chill down 10 degrees, feeling more like late November or as we typically should for Thanksgiving. But beyond that, we're back to January status. That high temperatures only in the upper 40s. That means our lows are going to be a lot chillier as well. Our near record highs today by 1. 77 today, 78 is the record set back in 1942. And that's crazy because we typically should be about 62 degrees. So we're talking about a 15-degree warm up compared to where we should be. Now, the next couple of days will be a little bit on the cooler side, the lower 70s. And we're right back to 77 like today on Saturday. And that has a better shot of breaking record because the record is 2 degrees cooler set back in 2011. It all depends on the date. There's always a different number per day. Our rainfall chances over the coming days, I think we can pretty much put today and this morning's rain chances in the rearview mirror. At most, maybe you see a sprinkle. I don't know why it would happen to that clicker there. I don't even need it anymore. We're looking at a little bit of rain possible on Thursday, and then it's Friday night heading into Saturday. That's where we're going to have our next chance for rain. You forget how to hold things, right? All right, and then our better chance for rain is really going to be heading into your Tuesday and Wednesday. So let's move right towards that. For your Friday, you're looking at some scatter rain that starts to move back in, and then we see some much more widespread rain, I think, really heading into your Saturday morning. One thing that's tricky in the forecast, and I'm seeing things that are all over the place, is how far this is going to spread off towards the east. So I just want you to kind of keep in the back of your mind that it could last into your Saturday afternoon, but as of right now, it does look to be Friday night heading into your Saturday morning, and then we'll start to erode things for the rest of the weekend. Jumping right ahead to our 10-day forecast. I already showed you an example of this. The two tops today and your Saturday, definitely by far the picks of the week. Either side of 70 degrees Sunday through Wednesday, and then eventually the cool down, chili turkeys for Turkey Day. So enjoy the warmer temperatures while we have them. Let's toss over to Majestic, who can actually hold a clicker and not drop it.
Good morning, everyone. I want to let you know about a few important things if you are heading out the door this morning. I want to take you into areas north of Charlotte because we're starting to see some more significant delays here. You can see this one is the first one I'm going to talk about. It's east of Huntersville. Once we zoom it in, we're really starting to see more of that red showing up. We know that there's a crash right here. Davidson Highway at Da Vinci Drive. We're seeing red. That means stop and go traffic in both directions. Once we head over to the west just a bit, another impactful crash. This time, 2 lanes are currently blocked because of it. It's on Highway 150. This is out by Lake Norman, just west of I-77. Cheryl's Ford Road. That's where we do still have that stop and go traffic as well. And then this one here, want to let you know it's ongoing. This is where we do have a crash on I-77 exit 49A, orange meaning it's not necessarily stop and go traffic, but it is definitely moving slowly. That's what's happening right now in areas north of Charlotte. When I see it right back here in just a few minutes, we're going to talk about what's going on a little closer to uptown. Guys.
Coming up, President Trump met with Saudi Arabia's crown prince at the White House. It's his first visit since the murder of a a U.S. journalist. We hear what he has to say coming up.
.42 now to the White House, where President Trump met with Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince, his first White House visit since the murder of a prominent U.S. journalist. It's believed that the Saudi leader may have been behind that murder. Here's NBC's Garrett Hake to explain.
President Trump rolling out the red carpet for Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, offering the kingdom's de facto ruler a lavish welcome, including an honor guard on horseback and a military flyover, including several F-35 jets, the same type of advanced fighters the president plans to sell to Saudi Arabia. President Trump touting Saudi Arabia's $600 billion of investments in the U.S.
What it really means for everybody that really counts is jobs, a lot of jobs.
Now saying the Saudi investment could rise to $1 trillion.
You're saying to me now that the $600 billion will be $1 trillion.
Definitely, because what we are signing, it will facilitate that, and
I like that very much.
That friendly reception for the Crown Prince, a major reversal from the international ostracism he faced after the CIA concluded he ordered the murder of Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi in 2018. President Trump interrupting a question about the killing.
A lot of people didn't like that gentleman that you're talking about. Whether you like him or didn't like him, things happen. But he knew nothing about it, and we can leave it at that.
The Crown Prince, who has denied ordering the murder, responding.
We've improved our system to be sure that nothing happened like that, and it's painful and it's a huge mistake.
While President Trump was pressed about his family's business dealings in Saudi Arabia, including Trump-branded luxury properties.
I have nothing to do with the family business. I have left, and when I've devoted 100% of my energy. What my family does is fine. They do business all over. They've done very little with Saudi Arabia, actually.
The Crown Prince also suggesting he could join President Trump's signature Abraham Accords, normalizing relations with Israel, if there is a path to a Palestinian state.
I think you have a very good feeling toward the Abraham Accords.
Yes, definitely, Mr. President. We want peace for the Israelis. We want peace for the Palestinians.
Yesterday, Pope Leo briefly spoke to reporters there near the Vatican, saying that the Trump administration has been extremely disrespectful to migrants. The Pope called for people in the United States to seek ways to treating people with respect.
I think we have to look for ways of treating people humanely, treating people with the dignity that they have. If people are in the United States illegally, there are ways to treat that. There are courts. There's a system of justice.
Pope Leo, the first pontiff to express his disapproval of the Trump administration's targeting of migrants in recent weeks.
Well, Turkey Day is almost here. Have you started shopping for it?
Not yet. But then again, I'm already decorated for Christmas. So.
Right.
If you haven't, we're here to let you know what it's going to cost you this year. And guess what? It's going to be more, at least according to experts. That's what they're saying as farmers produce fewer turkeys this year. Sydney Boyo tells us the best way to get more bang for your buck.
Overall, the cost is going to be much higher because of higher turkey price, cranberry sauce, and other ingredients that are used in making the stuffing.
A big reason is your table's centerpiece and staple bird, turkey.
This year, due to the avian flu, lot of turkeys had to be culled. There are a lot fewer turkeys available. Lots of flocks have been suffering.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture says farmers are expected to produce 5 million fewer turkeys this year, a 40-year low due to the bird flu.
It doesn't impact us, but it does, the market as a whole. It creates, less turkeys, which makes supply short, drives the price up,
The retail cost of a turkey is up 25% according to Purdue University and 40% for wholesale, according to the American Farm Bureau of Federation.
That's crazy, just the way things are right now with the expense. I mean, it's, everyone wants to enjoy turkey on Thanksgiving, and to know it's that much more is crazy.
We went up like 30 cents this year, but we were probably the same for the last 5 years, we didn't, but I had to go up some this year.
Gozy's Turkey Farm in Guilford says turkey production costs are also rising.
Costs are up, feed costs are up, everything's up.
But one thing is clear, people aren't letting the costs stop their celebrations.
We'll do about 15,000, but it gets the craziest here, obviously, November. Yeah, everything's geared towards Thanksgiving.
Even the costs are higher, but the good thing is that there are so many choices and consumers can shop around. Instead of buying from big name stores, they can go to retailers where the price may be cheaper.
Sydney Boyo with that report. It is the season of giving, and there are countless ways that you can share the spirit. We'll show you how next. 7:49 now, a live look over uptown. Chris says this is his pick of the week, meaning it might be a little cloudy now, small chance for a few showers, but he says once that gets out of here, we're going to have a wonderful Wednesday. We're going to have more on your forecast, Chris, and it felt better this morning coming in. I have to tell you, it's much better than the previous days.
Oh, 100% it did. And check out where our lows are going to be over the next few mornings. We have 52 by tomorrow, 55 for your Friday. We're actually going to be back in the lower 60s, but then eventually we have to cool down, right? We've only had 2 freezing lows in November, and that's actually quite rare. We usually have at least 5. The actual average over the last 100 years is about 6 freezing temperatures during the month of November. Well, we're nowhere close to that, but we are going to make up for lost time because it does look like we're right back to that freezing point heading into the last weekend of November, which, by the way, the Thursday that is next, which is the 27th, that is Thanksgiving, we're expecting a low around 49 degrees. I was showing you this earlier about when it feels like. Realistically, we're going to have a big drop off in our temperatures. That's going to be because of a passing front, and that's what's going to be the big difference here. So we're looking at a big time Thanksgiving cool down, but truly, it's almost more of a Black Friday cool down. The way things are starting to shape up is we're going to have a chance for rain. We already had it this morning. Again, Friday night heading into Saturday, but this is our best chance. But it's still going to be struggling with a little bit of drier air. That's been our biggest issue. The further west that you go in the Carolinas, much better chance for rain. But this low pressure system is going to arrive Tuesday into Wednesday. It's going to keep some on and off rain chances around, still on the milder side of things, but it's not this that's going to cool us down. Just like the previous cool down that we had, it's the secondary cold front, another Arctic blast that's going to roll in during Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving, still pretty mild to start off in the upper 40s. That's still above average, but highs are only going to be around 60 degrees before we are going to see eventual pass down for those temperatures. So it's feeling more like October today, and then again on Saturday especially, which we start off the month feeling more like 78, and then we start to get a little bit more November-like, really not until Thanksgiving. So that's where we have the temperature dropping back down to about 60 degrees, but it really is a big shock and awe of the system. We're once again going to have those high temperatures return to right around 50 degrees, which, by the way, during the dead of winter, we average still 52 degrees, which, of course, you still have lower temperatures than that, sometimes not even getting above freezing for a given day during the month of January. Just letting you know that that big time cool down is on the way. But in the near term, enjoy the warmth while we have it. 77 today, and again on Saturday, those are both right near a record and a rarity for this time of year. Majestic, what's going on?
Good morning, everyone. We'll take that warm weather today. It's going to be a good day to get outside and soak it up. Here's some of those drive times if you're heading out the door or early this morning. We're now nearing 8 a.m. It's going to take you around 40 minutes if you're coming in from Waxhaw, right under 25 if you're making that commute from Belmont. So we talked about the crashes mainly north of Charlotte. Now I want to talk about some that are a little closer to Charlotte. This one here is on Wilkinson Boulevard at Todd Road. We're still seeing that red there. That's going to be those southbound lanes. Cars right now are at a stop and go because of that crash. To the east of this one, we have a new crash at Harding Place and Moorhead Street. We have orange coming in at both directions, so slow moving traffic. Likely that crash is right in the middle of an intersection. And then as we're heading to the south right here, still not done. We're looking at this lane that's blocked because of a crash. It's on Sharon Road, southbound at Quail Hollow Road. Continue to be mindful if you're heading that way. And then here, this one is really not bringing big impacts, but still something to mention. Juniper Drive at Mill Haven Lane. So multiple things that are ongoing right around Charlotte, but again, still seeing a handful of accidents there even north of Charlotte. We'll talk about those and more coming up here soon.
Majestic, thanks. It is time to get those letters to Santa in the mail. This week marked the start of the U.S. Postal Service's annual letter adoption.
Operation Santa gives children and families the opportunity to write letters to Santa. People can then adopt a letter from a child to make sure those holiday wishes are fulfilled. This year, you could choose to adopt a family as a team to ensure requests from the same household are met. You can visit USPSOperationSanta.com to learn more.
The holiday season is here and our magical toy drive is back for the 25th year. WCNC Charlotte is teaming up with the Salvation Army to help put gifts under the tree for local families. And you can certainly help. All you have to do is bring any new unwrapped toy to a Charlotte area Belk location between now and December 14th. You can also just scan that QR code that you see there on your screen to learn about other ways to donate.
All right, folks. 7:54 right now as we take a live look right now over uptown Charlotte on this Wednesday morning. Keep it right here on WCNC Plus. We'll have the latest on Operation Charlotte's web. Those immigration raids being carried out in Charlotte plus another check of your forecast and morning commute.
Good morning. We got sunshine and it's sticking around for most of the day. We'll see a few more clouds by the back end, but yeah, we did have a little bit of rain that brushed by the area. 49 right now around Lincoln, 55 around Charlotte, and now that the sun is up, it is time to warm up big time. And speaking of warm, it is much warmer than just a day ago, up by about 9 to even 20 degrees warmer than just this time yesterday. Yesterday, speaking of, we hit 69. Today's going to be much warmer around 77. And get ready for a near record run. Today's right near the record high of 78, and we could even break a record again on Saturday because our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast has the 70s sticking around over the next 5 days. Upper 60s Monday and Tuesday with another chance for rain in the middle of next week. Should be much cooler though by Thanksgiving. Let's get over to Majestic. Good morning to you. What's going on?
Good morning, everyone. Well, we're off to a busy start to our morning. If you're getting ready to head out the door, do want to let you know we're following this accident right here. Take a look at your TV screen. This is on I-77 just north of Griffith. That's exit 30 there, where you can see cars are still moving. They're just moving rather slowly because of that accident. There it is on my map where we do have slow moving conditions. We'll be following this for you this morning coming up on WCNC Plus, but it's going to be between exit 23 and 30.
Streaming live right now at 8 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. This morning, questions are being raised over what some are characterizing as possible intimidation techniques from federal agents. A volunteer with the Carolina Migrant Network is speaking out after an encounter she had with agents that led to her home.
WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane now live in East Charlotte, breaking down what people should know about the encounter. I mean, we should say this woman works for, an advocacy group that looks out for immigrants. So the average person watching might not be doing the same things, but it is still a cautionary tale of how people should consider conducting themselves in these situations.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. She actually is a volunteer, so some people might think that what she does is the same that they can do out in the community. She said her actual role is ICE activity identifier, and what she does is she goes and she sees where people might be standing around and there's ICE activity, and she says she doesn't blow her horn because she heard about the case just earlier this week with the young woman the two women who did that, but she says she might blow her whistle or something like that, and she never thought that what she was doing would be met with this type of retaliation and intimidation. So let's take a look at some video. This is some car surveillance video of hers. The woman we're talking about says her name, first of all, is Abigail Pepper. She's a volunteer with the Carolina Migrant Network. She says the incident happened after she spotted several unmarked vehicles pulling into a supermarket here in East Charlotte. She said nothing was really going on at that time, so she was there, but then one car sped off, so she went and followed that one thinking they were going towards someone. She, after a while of following it for a good period of time, it's possibly up to 30 minutes, she said then the car started going turn for turn into her neighborhood. She actually slowed up when she got into her neighborhood, and that car continued on, and actually that car pulled up in front of her house, and an agent pointed toward her house. This before driving off and actually running a red light, she says. She called the police, who told her that a few people have already reported similar encounters. She believes agents ran her license plate after those multiple unmarked vehicles had actually boxed her in when she first went to that location at the shopping center. Take a listen to what she said.
It's okay to scan someone's plates, but then to use that to intimidate is absolutely not legal. And so we called and said, hey, they're like actively intimidating people and going to their homes to do so. And the officer on the line said that they have gotten a few reports of this. I had a dash cam, so how are they behaving when they aren't being recorded, which they constantly are trying to obfuscate? So
yeah, she said she wanted that warning to go out to other people. She said she was not one of those people blowing her horns, but she did say she blew a whistle. And it's important to note that if officers feel that you're interfering, they can take legal action against you. She wants everyone to just be warned and be aware. We're right here in East Charlotte. This is Richard Devane. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
No matter how you feel about what's happening here in Charlotte, and I realize that people have very strong opinions on either side, you also have to follow the law, and you also have to be mindful of the situations you're putting yourself in, no matter how justified you might think you are.
And going on what Richard said, that incident actually comes on the heels of reports of another U.S. citizen being taken into custody by Border Patrol. Now, this happened yesterday. It was at the Eastway Crossing Shopping Center. Several witnesses say a man was alerting that Border Patrol was operating in the area. When agents then turned their attention toward him, he repeatedly shouted to them that he was a U.S. citizen, but he was still detained.
I feel horrified. I don't understand how people can live right now and wake up in the morning. I don't understand people go to sleep at night right now, knowing that the people that live next to them and the people in their neighborhoods are scared for their lives, scared for their children, scared for their parents, scared for their siblings.
Now, DHS nor Border Patrol has said why that man was detained or what charges he may face. Again, what we were just discussing, legal experts say agents have the authority to arrest people if they deem them to be interfering with operations. However, you do have the right to record.
This morning, local leaders have their hands tied and are looking for ways to help immigrant communities. County commissioners were left to simply pass a resolution that reaffirms the county's support for constitutional rights. It's about what they could do, calling for support, respect, and fair treatment for immigrant communities who call this county home.
We don't condone it, we won't stand for it, and we represent the people of Mecklenburg County, and we stand by every word of this proclamation.
Now, it's a show of support, but it has no real teeth, as local government has no control over federal operations. That's why next week, City Council is going to vote on temporary funding to local organizations helping residents impacted by Border Patrol. If that funding does pass, there is still some concern over where that money would come from and how quickly it could be allocated.
8:05 now. As the debate over Border Patrol continues, many in the community say they feel safer knowing this immigration operation is happening. Matt Mercer with the North Carolina Republican Party weighing in last night right here on WCNC Plus.
Folks who are here illegally, they don't want to be found. And so I would say is folks who are here legally who say, hey, yeah, here's everything that I have. They, I believe, very quickly can move about their day once that happens. But again, these officers from Border Patrol are here going after folks who don't want to be found. And I think it's unfortunate that folks are making it harder for them to do their job.
We'll continue following these operations here in Charlotte, and stay with us right here on WCNC Plus for the latest on the raids, the protests, and the impacts to your community.
All right, let's get right to it. Check it out. Our Monroe camera looking great. We have some clouds that are lingering, and we did have a little bit of rain depending where you were. And now we're clearing out the slate, so that means most of the day is going to actually look like this. That's fantastic. Satellite and radar even changed the view from what I had about an hour ago because there was some active green. That is now disappearing further off towards the east, so good news. Over the next 36 hours, this front that did bring a little bit of rain is actually going to drop down towards the south. And since we're underneath the umbrella of that warm front, today is much warmer than what we have tomorrow. And as long as you have these fronts nearby, extra moisture as well in the different levels of the atmosphere, it will be much cloudier going forward. And then eventually we are going to see some rain starting to slide on in. Yesterday, 69 degrees was our high. Today we're doing much better, up to 77. That is incredible. We've hit this mark a few times in November, including on Sunday. We were at 79 degrees. And through the afternoon, you're expecting a stretch of the 70s. The only difference is later on today, you are expecting more clouds to conclude the day. So it could be a mostly cloudy end for some of us, and certainly a cloudier evening. And as long as you have clouds through the overnight, that's my favorite, me personally, is because that's going to allow for almost a little blanket over us, keeping temperatures on the milder end, only dropping down into the lower 50s to the upper 40s all in all. It's going to be a pretty decent one. Sunrise time right around 7:03 again tomorrow. Our highs tomorrow are going to take a slight hit. I think we're a little bit closer to 70 degrees because we are dealing with more cloud cover. There'll be some periods of sunshine, wind still out of the south, which just supports a warmer direction. And as for the mountains, we only have a spotty rain chance for the rest of today. It's really not until Saturday that we have a much better chance for rain. Temperatures really hovering in the 60s, which is great. So, speaking of the mountains, ski season, the projected openings looking across the area. We already have one that has been open. That's Sugar Mountain. It's Snowshoe in West Virginia. It's about November 26th. Beach Mountain about November 29th. Winter Place, West Virginia, December 6th. Ski Mountain, we're still not seeing any information on when that is going to open. That's a little bit lower in elevation, so they need to get a lot cooler. And then Chattahoochee right about November 22nd. But the Beach Mountain, November 29th, that is coming up before you know it. So now just after Thanksgiving. As far as our precipitation chances go, I think our higher chances are really going to be Friday heading into Saturday, and then again Tuesday and Wednesday right before we get to Thanksgiving. Put my weather bookmark right here. We'll go through all the rain chances associated with what it looks like on our Futurecast coming up here shortly. But first, starting off the 8 o'clock hour, let's see how traffic's faring.
We're following a crash right here. It's on I-77 just north of Griffith. You can see a couple cars are involved in this wreck, but at this point it seems like it's off to the side. Cars are still moving right around it. They're just moving rather slowly. Keep this in mind for your morning commute. You can see a couple of police officers there on scene, and again it's going to be blocking one space, one of those lanes out of all four, but again it's not completely blocking I-77. Let me show you what I'm talking about as we switch it over to my map. It's going to be right here at exit 28 and exit 30. That's where we do have the biggest slowdown because of that, where a lane is blocked because of that crash. That's going to be out by Catawba Ave and Griffith Street. Again, there's that live camera look of that ongoing wreck, and that's going to be the biggest thing that you need to know for your morning commute. There's some of those drive times if you're gearing up to head out the door this morning.
Majestic thinks Congress votes to release the Epstein files. We'll have reaction from victims and the president next here on WCNC Plus.
A bright 11-year-old with an infectious smile who disappeared after getting off her school bus in Cornelius in 2022.
From November the 22nd to December the 15th, 23 days went by where he didn't know the location of Madalena Kojikari.
Conflicting stories from her mother and stepfather, a boarded up bedroom, fires in the backyard of her home, secret recordings, and trips out of state.
Bottom line is she's a suspect in the disappearance of her own daughter.
Everyone's still asking, where is Madalena?
Our goal is to find Madalena, and we're not going to stop until we do.
The Search for Madalena, streaming on WCNC Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
All right, 8:12 right now on WCNC Plus and all eyes on the Oval Office. We're waiting to see when the president will sign a bill releasing the Epstein files. Now, Jeffrey Epstein was a convicted sex offender with ties to some of the world's most powerful men. And now we're learning the president is asking his Department of Justice to open new investigations into Democrats mentioned in those files. NBC's Alice Barr now in Washington with the details.
After decades of delays, a final sprint toward accountability, with the bill to force the release of the Justice Department's Epstein files headed to President Trump's desk after sailing through the House and Senate. Survivors of the notorious sex offender Jeffrey Epstein's abuse cheering Senate passage at a candlelight vigil.
The power of being heard and being recognized and being validated is incredibly healing.
Across both chambers, only one member, a Republican, voted no after months of resistance from the president and GOP leaders who pressed for other means of transparency, arguing this bill didn't do enough to protect victims' identities and could create new victims named in the files but cleared of any wrongdoing.
It needed amendments. I just spoke to the president about that. We'll see what happens.
President Trump, who in the end urged Republicans to pass the bill and said he would sign it, bristled at questions about why he doesn't just release the files now.
I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because I thought he was a sick pervert. But I guess I turned out to be right.
The president has not been accused of any wrongdoing tied to Epstein's crimes, and survivors are underscoring their fight is not about politics.
What we endured was real, and it has scarred lives across 5 presidential administrations. The truth has been buried in sealed files and hidden records for far too long.
Those files set to be released by the Justice Department within 30 days of the president signing the bill into law. President Trump also asked the Justice Department to investigate prominent Democrats who've been linked to Epstein. And that's raising some concerns now because any active federal investigation could prompt the DOJ to withhold certain documents that, if released, would jeopardize those probes. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
And folks, a reminder, the holiday season is here and our magical toy drive is back. This is the 25th year, by the way. WCNC Charlotte teaming up with the Salvation Army to help put gifts under the tree for deserving families. You can help too. All you have to do is bring any new unwrapped toy to any Charlotte Belk location between now and December 14th. You can also just scan that QR code. You see it right there on the right side of your screen to learn about other ways to donate. And as we head to break, here is an exclusive shopping deal for our viewers.
Hi, our team tests a ton of products and we only bring you the best. I am super excited about this one today because it's going to save you literally hundreds of dollars on a plumber. I'm talking about this. It's Professor Amos Super Fast Drain Cleaner. And wait until you see how this works. We have a little experiment set up over here. It's nuts. All right, so this is actually how your drains look. I know it's kind of gross. The hair, the grime, the grease. And did you know your kitchen sink is actually the dirtiest in the entire house? But this works on any drain, from the kitchen to the bathroom to the shower. So all you do is you pour a few ounces in. That's literally it. And I'm going to show you over here what's actually happening. We have some drain experts who built this for us. This is what's happening in your drain, and you can't see it. This mimics what's in your drain. Look at that. It liquefies it immediately. What's so amazing about this product, and we've tested a lot of them over the years, is that most drain cleaners just have a pinhole size, fix. It's temporary. This cleans, drains the pipe as well. And then all you need to do is run your hot water in whatever room you're in for 5 minutes, and boom, you have clean drains. No plumber's gonna have to come out. Normally, a 2-pack of this goes for $59.95, but we have an exclusive deal just for you. $33.95 for a 2-pack. That's a whopping 43% off. Grab it while supplies last. Just scan the QR code on your screen or go to shoptvdeals.com.
Good morning, good morning. Check it out. Our precipitation chances are really up and down, up and down. That 20% we can already close out because we already had any rain that we were going to have earlier today, and might see a sprinkle a little bit later on. But then Friday heading into Saturday has very weak rain chance, and then it's Tuesday heading into next Wednesday. That's right before Thanksgiving that we are going to see our next round of rain beyond what we see this weekend. So let's go through all of them. Our futurecast is showing that those clouds will push back in a little bit later on today. Here's that sprinkle action I was talking about. So there's a sizable part of the day that's going to be under mostly sunny skies, eventually turning partly cloudy, and then I think mostly cloudy skies through the overnight. And then for tomorrow, I'm not calling for any rain. I think that we're going to stay on the drier side of things, but then the clouds increase rapidly for your Friday. Here's the rain though. Right around the I-40 corridor, we'll test a chance for a little bit of rain before the sun rises up on Friday morning. Then throughout the day, chance for a few sprinkles, but then it's really not until Saturday morning that we have a round of showers. I think you see rain in the morning, and then it might look like it's going to rain a little bit later on in the back end of the forecast. And as for our Tuesday and Wednesday rain chances, they're still not absolutely sure. What you're going to see is a big low pressure system slide in, giving on and off rain chances for your Tuesday and Wednesday. And it's that front behind it that's going to cool things down big time. High temperatures around 60 degrees for Thanksgiving, likely below 50-degree highs for your Black Friday. Yikes. Hopefully nothing yikes worthy for a morning commute. Let's double check with Majestic.
Well, we are following this crash still on I-77 just north of Griffith. If you are coming inbound, southbound lanes, this is what it looks like. Right now, one lane is currently blocked because of this crash. You can still see cars are able to move. They're just moving rather slowly because of that ongoing crash. A couple cars involved, a couple police officers are still there on scene. As we switch it over to my live traffic map, this is exactly where it is. So again, I-77 between exit 28, that's Catawba Ave, and exit 30, that's Griffith Street, and that's where we do have that stop and go traffic because of this ongoing wreck here for your Wednesday morning commute. Again, you are still able to drive through it. You might just want to squeeze in a little bit of extra drive time if you typically drive that way. Here's some of our drive times. Waxhaw to Charlotte, about 40 minutes if you're making your way throughout the uptown area. And we do have our typical delays. Of course we do, but we're also following this crash here where we now have a lane that's blocked on Randolph Road and 4th Street. Guys.
All right, Majestic, thanks for that.
At a restaurant in a small town in Illinois, the food and drinks aren't the only things that keep the customers coming back. There's also a robot named Bella that's stealing the show.
From running orders to tables to entertaining guests, she's become a favorite fixture, changing the dining experience one table at a time. Here's Lamaya Starnes.
Here at Hangar 18, customers say they love the food and drinks, but an added bonus is Bella the robot. Sorry, Bella. She runs orders to tables, helps staff, and is a restaurant favorite.
We have seen an increase in business from people. We get people coming in just to see the robot. And so that has helped drive the word of mouth advertising and communication about what we're doing here.
Justin McWhorter is the owner of the restaurant. He says Bella the bot is an addition to the team.
The robot is not a replacement. It's merely a tool for the server to perform the tasks at a more efficient rate.
Servers still hand the guests their food. Bella transports the food from the kitchen. Jada Plummer has worked at Hangar for more than 3 years.
I don't even have to go in the kitchen anymore because I get to stay out here with the customers and be more hands-on. It definitely boosts morale. So when people are sitting at a table and a robot comes up and starts singing and little kids are playing with it, everybody's smiling. Here I am.
Bella the bot is made by a company called Poodoo. She acts as a server, but does have a host setting as well.
In a small town, you see the things on TV or you see them on the news, and you think, oh, that's just some far-off fantasy. But then when you actually go into your local restaurant and you see it, it brings a sense of, wow, maybe we are in the modern ages here. We're not still in 1950 or 60, and I think it gives people a sense of pride that their small town is a part of the world.
Changing the dining experience one table at a time.
Interesting there.
Call me old-fashioned. I'm cool with human
I'm with you.
workers.
I love a good server. You know,
Oh,
somebody
they can make or break an experience.
Absolutely. Because I often like to ask them, anything you recommend? What's your favorite dish?
Yes, especially when they're really passionate about their job
Yeah.
and they love it.
Yes.
It adds that special sparkle.
It's going to be to the point that these businesses, by the way, we have humans. They're like, oh, wow, I'm going to go.
Right.
I'm going to go there. That sounds great.
All right, folks, so we're going to take a quick break. We'll make sure that you keep it right here on WCNC Plus. Coming up at 8:30, we're going to hear from South Carolina Congressmember on his expectations for Border Patrol operations and the plans to extend into the Palmetto State.
Good morning, everybody. Check it out. We have some lingering clouds further off towards the east. This is right around Lowesville. High temperatures today, 77. Are you serious? 78 right around Lancaster. It's going to be great. I think the sunniest part of the day is pretty much now going forward into the early afternoon. By the middle of the afternoon, many of the kiddos are getting home from the bus stop. That's where temperatures will be in the mid to the upper 70s. Closer to a record than where we actually should be. Our Jerry Hunt Super Center 7-day forecast shows the lower 70s back in action for Thursday and Friday. By the way, look at these lows, only dropping down to the lower 50s, the mid 50s on Thursday and Friday, so a similar warm to what we had this morning. The lower 60s for a kickoff for your Saturday. That could come with some morning rain, but we should return back to that 77-degree high like today on Saturday. Then a little bit cooler after that, falling down below 70 degrees, and then eventually by Thanksgiving, by day 8 to 9 of the forecast, we're looking at temperatures dropping down to 60 degrees. Majestic, take it away. What's going on?
Good Wednesday morning, everyone. Following a crash on I-77. You can see on my map, though, we have a lot going on this morning that we're covering for you on WCNC Plus. This is the most important thing, though. I-77 north of Griffith. We have an active crash here. One lane is currently blocked. It's going to slow you down this morning out there towards exit 30.
Thanks for streaming live on WCNC Plus at 8:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. This morning, all eyes remain on classrooms in Charlotte as tens of thousands of students are missing class as a result of an ongoing Border Patrol operation here in Charlotte. Today, students in the district will have a previously planned early release day.
That's right. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards explains why the district is choosing to stay with in-person learning despite calls from some parents to switch to remote learning.
CMS made it clear the district will not move to remote learning despite thousands of absences and parents who say they're terrified of Border Patrol activity happening near schools. Parents packed Tuesday night's CMS board meeting, urging leaders to offer a remote or hybrid option while Border Patrol operations continue in Charlotte. Both parents and educators spoke before the school board, saying they fear sending students to school, are concerned about their well-being, and want a safe alternative. The push comes after more than 30,000 students were absent Monday. But Superintendent Dr. Crystal Hill says going remote would create major consequences for students who rely on in-person support.
Going remote may address one concern, but there are multiple unintended consequences. Thousands of students without breakfast or lunch, thousands of students that don't have access to school-based caring adults like a teacher, counselor, social worker to support those who have experienced or been exposed to what is happening in our community or other life circumstances.
CMS says there's been no Border Patrol activity on any campus, and they can't control what happens around schools. For now, students are expected to remain in the classroom. At CMS headquarters, I'm Destiny Richards, WCNC Charlotte.
As Border Patrol operations continue, some CMS parents are stepping up to help families scared to pick up and drop off their children at school. Some parents are meeting at key entrance points near the school to alert families of Border Patrol agents during drop-off and pickup times. At one school, the PTA is using some of the association's relief funds for families impacted by food insecurity or who need help with transportation.
I think every family has to look at the situation and do what makes sense for them. And should also know that there's many people in this community that care about them, that we're here for them, that there's many people working to make this place safe again. And I'm hopeful that coming out of this, we're going to be even stronger and more united as a Charlotte community than we've ever been.
Families can reach out directly to their child's school for information on how they can benefit from PTA resources or student support teams.
This morning, a Charlotte man is being charged with using his vehicle against federal agents. Officials tell us agents arrested 24-year-old Cristobal Maltos yesterday. They say his driver's side mirror hit a Border Patrol officer as agents were trying to contact him. Agents say Maltos was following them on 2 occasions. Maltos now out of jail on bond. The Department of Homeland Security says vehicle ramming attacks have seriously increased since last year. DHS says they're up 58%, with more than 70 happening since January.
Hundreds of protesters coming together in downtown Raleigh to voice their opposition to Border Patrol operations across the state. We told you the city's mayor, Janet Cowell, said she received word Border Patrol agents would begin operations in Raleigh as early as yesterday. Now, similar to the situation here in Charlotte, she says federal officials have not told local leaders who they are targeting or when the operations will end. Conversations are ongoing about where Border Patrol could go in the future as those operations spread. Our team on WCNC Plus spoke with South Carolina Representative Ralph Norman about what he's heard.
Are you getting any wind of operations that might eventually happen in South Carolina?
Yes.
What can you tell us about those?
I'm not going to tell you anything. I mean, ICE knows where they are. I'm not going to tell you where I think they're going. I wouldn't do that to them. Look, these people are putting their lives on the line to go into communities. And I don't know when it'll be, but I'm sure that's true all over the country. But to blow your horn like you said the lady was doing, alerting people to go inside and hide, I would never do that. Never would I betray them, because I think they're doing the right thing.
Congressman Ralph Norman there. Rapper and North Carolina native Petey Pablo says Border Patrol doesn't have permission to use a hit song in social media videos. Border Patrol Commander Greg Bavino posting the video on X showing federal agents making multiple arrests in Charlotte with rapper's iconic song Raise Up in the background. Pablo, who's from Greenville, North Carolina, says that his team is looking into his legal options. Folks, will continue to follow the border operations here in Charlotte. Stay right here on WCNC Plus, watching on your favorite streaming device for the latest on the raids, the protests, and the impacts to your community.
All right, let's jump right to it. We have some beautiful skies off in the distance. Temperatures will be warming up in a hurry now that the sun has been up well over an hour. And we are anticipating that temperatures should be in the lower 60s within the next couple of hours, mid 70s to start off the lunchtime hour, and we should have an ample amount of sunshine for most of the day, picking up more clouds by day's end. It's a near record day, 77 for a high. 78 is where the record sits. That was set back in 1942. So you're talking about early World War II is the last time that we were this hot on this day in climatology. Normally it should be about 62, so that's quite the anomaly. I want to show you exactly where we're going. This is leading up to Thanksgiving, and I also want to show you some Thanksgiving extremes for this weather hit. So 77 is where we're at today. We're going to be right back there for your Saturday. This special graphic that I made about a week ago, I thought this really just tells the tale that most of the days that we're going to have over the next 7 feeling more like October, that averages 78 to 68 degrees. We're typically mainly in the 60s to the upper 50s across the 30 days of November. Well, it's really not until Thanksgiving Day itself, that's November 27th, that we're back to around where we should be for this time of year, 60 degrees. But then beyond that, we're actually dropping down to more January-like status because we're going to see a big-time cool down. That's also going to bring our lows back down to the freezing point. We've only been down to the freezing point twice so far this November. Typically, we average about 5 to 6 during a given November, so we're trying to catch up for lost time for the last couple of days, but that is going to be a big-time cool down. As far as our rain chances go, as of right now, it looks to primarily be Tuesday and Wednesday before Thanksgiving. We could have a lingering rain chance, maybe a spotty shower, still a lot of uncertainties having to deal with that. But let's talk about the warmest, some of the coolest, and all the different really records that we've had on Thanksgiving Day. Of course, this is forever changing, so it's tough to really get hold of all the records, but we've done it for you. 74 degrees is the warmest Thanksgiving that we have ever had. 1985 and 2016 is when we did that. The coldest, 19 degrees, is the chilliest low. That happened back in 2013. As for the wettest Turkey Day, we had over 1.5 inches of rain. That was back in 1983. So going forward, looking at the long-range forecast, it's really not until Black Friday that we technically have the big cool down. You're already probably seeing a lot of different hype articles saying epic cold turkey, big cool down on the way. That is true for a lot of parts of the country, but it's really not here in Charlotte until we get to about Friday, so Black Friday. Here's the course of action that we're going to go through. One, we have a low pressure system attached to a bunch of fronts that pushes past the Carolinas. That's on your Tuesday heading into Wednesday, so just let you know you could encounter rain if you're doing any last minute shopping. But then it's this front to the northwest. It was just like this most recent cool down that we have. It's not one front, it's the second front that truly cools us down. It's once that passes that we return to those freezing temperatures and well below normal lows. So of course, enjoy the warmer temperatures while we have it. It is really nice to see that extended forecast mainly hovering in the 70s before we eventually get back to where we should be for late November, even colder than that. Majestic, what do we need to know about your morning commute?
We're still following this one active crash. We have a camera on it. This is exactly what we've been talking about over the last 30 minutes now. This is on I-77, just north of Griffith. This is if you're heading southbound, what it looks like. Right now, one lane currently blocked because of a crash that does involve a couple of different cars there. Still seeing a couple of police officers there on scene as well. You can see cars are still able to move. They're just moving very, very slowly. So still, this is going to be the biggest thing that you need to know as you're heading out the door. This is what I'm talking about. As we zoom it on in, you can see that red right there. That's where we do have those delays. So it's out near Davidson, Cornelius, but again, on I-77 between exits 23 and exit 30. This is again another look at that camera that we're continuing to keep a close eye on. Of course, I'll let you know once it is absolutely cleared. Here's some of those drive times coming in from Salisbury into Charlotte. It's going to take you around 50 minutes to do so, and if you're coming in from Belmont, right around 20 minutes for that morning commute. As we're heading a little closer into Uptown, this crash here has a lot of red with it, so it definitely grabbed my attention. A lane is blocked because of it. It's on Randolph Road at 4th Street, so stop and go traffic with that. And then this one, we've been talking about it for a while there at Atondo Ave in I-77, specifically exit 12. That has since been cleared, so making some progress there. We'll have another check on traffic all coming up here in a couple minutes. Guys.
8:40 right now on WCNC Plus. Coming up, President Trump met with Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince at the White House. It's his first visit since the murder of a journalist the U.S. believes he ordered. Hear what he had to say.
To the White House now, where President Trump met with Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince, his first White House visit since the murder of a prominent U.S. journalist that the U.S. believes the Saudi leader was behind. Here's NBC's Garrett Haake.
President Trump rolling out the red carpet for Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, offering the kingdom's de facto ruler a lavish welcome, including an honor guard on horseback and a military flyover, including several F-35 jets, the same type of advanced fighters the president plans to sell to Saudi Arabia. President Trump touting Saudi Arabia's $600 billion of investments in the U.S.
What it really means for everybody that really counts is jobs, a lot of jobs.
Now saying the Saudi investment could rise to $1 trillion.
You're saying to me now that the $600 billion will be $1 trillion.
Definitely, because what we are signing, it will facilitate that, and
I like that very much.
That friendly reception for the Crown Prince, a major reversal from the international ostracism he faced after the CIA concluded he ordered the murder of Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi in 2018. President Trump interrupting a question about the killing.
A lot of people didn't like that gentleman that you're talking about. Whether you like him or didn't like him, things happen, but he knew nothing about it, and we can leave it at that.
The Crown Prince, who has denied ordering the murder, responding.
We've improved our system to be sure that nothing happened like that, and it's painful and it's a huge mistake.
While President Trump was pressed about his family's business dealings in Saudi Arabia, including Trump-branded luxury properties.
I have nothing to do with the family business. I have left, and when I've devoted 100% of my energy. What my family does is fine. They do business all over. They've done very little with Saudi Arabia, actually.
The Crown Prince also suggesting he could join President Trump's signature Abraham Accords, normalizing relations with Israel, if there is a path to a Palestinian state.
I think you have a very good feeling toward the Abraham Accords.
Yes, definitely, Mr. President. We want peace for the Israelis. We want peace for the Palestinians.
Meantime, this morning we are hearing from Pope Leo after he spoke to reporters not too far from the Vatican, saying that the Trump administration has been extremely disrespectful to migrants. The Pope calling for people in the U.S. to seek ways to treat people with respect.
I think we have to look for ways of treating people humanely, treating people with the dignity that they have. If people are in the United States illegally, there are ways to treat that. There are courts. There's a system of justice.
Noteworthy, he's speaking about this while those raids go on here in Charlotte. Pope Leo, the first pontiff to express his disapproval of the Trump administration's targeting of migrants in recent weeks.
Award-winning female rapper Nicki Minaj taking a stand against Christian persecution in Nigeria. This comes as President Trump suggested taking military action against the West African country over the issue. Minaj spoke during an event with U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Mike Waltz.
Faith is under attack in way too many places. In Nigeria, Christians are being targeted, driven from their homes, and killed. Churches have been burned, families have been torn apart, and entire communities live in fear constantly, simply because of how they pray.
Experts say militant groups have carried out attacks targeting Christians in Nigeria, though similar attacks also target Muslims. Today, there is not enough evidence to prove the Christians are being targeted at a higher rate.
An international group of health experts targeting the food industry. 43 of them published a report in The Lancet warning about ultra-processed foods. They say these products contribute to obesity, chronic disease, and even premature death. The authors accuse food companies of putting profits ahead of public health. They want governments to step in with warning labels, taxes, and advertising limits. Examples of ultra-processed foods include energy drinks, sliced bread, hot dogs, and instant oatmeal.
8:46 now. We know the holidays are upon us. That means the Magical Toy Drive is back for the 25th year. WCNC Charlotte is teaming up with the Salvation Army to help put gifts under the tree for local families. And you can help. All you have to do is bring any new unwrapped toy to any Charlotte area Belk location between now and December 14th. You can also scan that QR code you see there on the right hand of your screen to learn about other ways to donate.
Welcome back, everybody. Let's talk about rain chances. We can close the book for today. We're dealing with a decent amount of blue sky right now, just a few passing clouds, and then we will have a nice sunny end of the morning and beginning to the afternoon. Should be actually a pretty good one. What we're actually looking at in the short term, looking at our HRRR. This is just our near-term model that really just dissects the current atmospheric information and just shows you what is happening right now. And it shows really mostly clear sky through a good portion of the day. But by the middle of the afternoon, we're picking up a few more clouds, and it really starts to cloud things up a lot more heading into the evening. Outside chance for a sprinkle, but I think most of us are going to be staying dry overall. Looking at some of the long range models, though, we are still anticipating a chance for rain, I would say overnight Friday heading into Saturday. Now, there's still a big question mark. What exactly is going to happen for activity further off towards the west? Is this going to work its way in during the afternoon? This model is representing that we could have a little bit of rain on your Saturday afternoon, but as of right now, the only verified clearance that we're seeing here is that really it's Friday night heading into Saturday morning that we will have that possibility. Then behind this, some lingering clouds, clearing things out, and then it's not until the back end of that forecast that we are seeing our next big chance for rain. And it looks like it's going to be on your Tuesday and Wednesday time frame. This is the one that's going to be right around Thanksgiving. This is why it's really tough to do a long-range forecast, because yesterday it was looking like, oh no, it's going to rain for the first half of Thanksgiving. Now it's looking like barely anything at all. One thing that we do know is that there will be a nearby system. Not saying that you're not going to see rain to start off your Thanksgiving morning. It's just that it's going to be nearby. So I think overall Thanksgiving is trending to be a lot more on the cloudier side, and then you're going to have that cold front that's going to move in behind it. That is going to drag our temperatures down big time. So get ready for an epic temperature swing behind this. And it was just like what we had last Monday and Tuesday. It was the secondary front that drags in that cool Canadian air that really strips our temperatures down. So for our 10-day forecast, 77 today, 77 on Saturday. Those are the picks of the week. Today is definitely, in my opinion, the pick of the week just because of the amount of sunshine, and Saturday still has a lot of uncertainties exactly what that rain is going to do. Then once we get a shift in the winds, we'll be either side of 70 degrees for highs Sunday through Wednesday. Really start to see the big cool down, only high of 60 degrees around Turkey Day. Oof. Highs around 50 to the upper 40s on Friday. That's Black Friday. That means we should also have some freezing lows heading into the last weekend of November. There it is, Majestic. A lot of ups and downs. What's going on for your traffic?
Well, kind of the same. We do still have a handful of ongoing wrecks for that Wednesday morning commute. We are nearing 9 o'clock this morning, but we still have a lot going on around Charlotte. But this is still I-77 north of Griffith. You can still see one lane is blocked because of this ongoing wreck involving a couple of cars. Still some police officers there on scene. You can see that cars are moving. They're just moving very slowly at this point. So again, if you typically travel on I-77 southbound, you will have those delays. I would say just allow for some extra drive time to get to where you want to be, because your alternate route, you can see exactly where it is. It also has those delays between Davidson and Cornelius. So make sure you're just prepared for that slowdown. Again, there's that live camera of that ongoing wreck and that jam-packed I-77 there just north of Griffith. Here's some of your drive times if you're coming in from Matthews to Charlotte. No accidents on Independence. It'll take you right around 25 minutes to get into Uptown, and still following a lane that's blocked because of a crash. It's close to Uptown. It's on Randolph Road, right on 4th Street. We're seeing delays in all directions. And then a stalled vehicle right here now has one lane blocked. It's on Woodlawn Road near Nations Crossing Road. Keep everything in mind. We'll have a final check on traffic coming up here soon.
Hi, this is Larry Sprinkle. Time for today's Tiny Town, and we take you far east. In fact, we take you to the town of Rodanthe, way out on the Outer Banks of North Carolina. It's in Dare County on the Outer Banks. Population 213 year-round. Obviously, during tourist season, it's in the thousands. Less than 1 square mile in territory. Famous for the life-saving station, which was built in the 1870s. It is still there, and also famous for those houses that have been really overtaken by the Atlantic Ocean. Today's Tiny Town, beautiful spot out there on the Outer Banks of North Carolina, out Highway 12, Rodanthe, North Carolina. I'm Larry Sprinkle.
All right, Larry, thanks so much. Well, everyone wants to use unique passwords to protect their accounts from hackers, of course. Online password manager NordPass has a list of passwords that you don't want to use.
So it's released its annual list of the 200 most common passwords. Study looked at passwords across 44 nations within a span of the year. At the very top of the list, the most common password was 123456, followed by admin. It's interesting. I wouldn't have expected that one.
Right?
For strong passwords, NordPass recommends at least 20 characters.
So many.
Who's got time for that?
You gotta remember them.
Make sure you include numbers, letters, special characters as well. It also recommends each account have its own unique password. and to use multi-factor authentication to add a layer of security. What about like what your phone does when it just scans your face?
I mean, I'm saying
That's much easier.
just
Way easier. Or your fingerprint.
Than,
yes,
that or
with the biometrics, so easy.
20 characters.
I can't believe
And
it's 1, 2,
different
3, 4.
passwords for like all those accounts. Like,
Yeah.
Nobody
has
got time for that. Nobody. Nobody's got time for that. All right, folks, take a live look inside our live Impact studio. Coming up in just a few minutes, Jane Montreal will have the very latest on those immigration raids.
Welcome everybody to my pick of the week. 77. It's amazing right now. Lots of sunshine going on. We're picking up more clouds by the back end of the day. Enjoy today. Just wow factor. Our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast does bring us down a little bit cooler. Lower 70s for tomorrow. More clouds. Lower 70s on Friday. Back to around the same range as Saturday, but it does come with a chance for rain splitting the day up. And then we had a little bit cooler on the back end. Check it out for our 10-day forecast. You can see that this is going to be short-lived. Enjoy these days because once we get a front to pass and a series of rain showers on Tuesday and Wednesday before Thanksgiving, only a high of 60 degrees. Beyond that, could have some more freezing lows and highs struggling to get to 50 degrees for Black Friday. Yikes. Hopefully nothing yikes worthy for your morning commute. Let's double check with Majestic.
Good morning, everyone. We've been following a crash on I-77 just north of Griffith, and that has officially been cleared, but you can still see some delays are ongoing. It's going to be those southbound lanes, but grab those sunglasses. It is absolutely gorgeous out there for your Wednesday morning commute. Still a few accidents to let you know about. This one here is right near Uptown, where we have one lane that's currently blocked. It's on Randolph Road and 4th Street there. Otherwise, if you're gearing up to head out the door, there's some of your drive times. Hope you have a great Wednesday.